Mestre Xuxo in the house.
Yes.
All right. Got Quebrado, instructor Quebrado.
Yes. Yeah, there we go.
Really excited to have you to do your
Smart,
workshop today.
smart. Yes, very excited.
Enjoy
Very excited.
movement.
Yes, yeah. For the first time with
Can you talk into the microphone?
It's the first time with Quebrado here.
Uh-huh.
And I'm very, very happy to get to know you.
Yeah.
And to get to know a little bit of his Capoeira community in Los Angeles.
It's a big pleasure.
Yeah.
You were in China, right?
Yeah.
you came. You were before this. You came from China.
No. I came from Costa Rica.
Okay.
From Costa Rica.
But you've been living in Shanghai.
I live in China, Shanghai, Beijing. It's like my base is there, but I'm traveling around the world. So it's like I go back to China once a year for.
Okay.
You
got out just in time though of the coronavirus, huh?
Thanks God. Thanks God. Thanks God.
Yeah. We're talking a little bit downstairs on just your history and background, and it's pretty amazing. Your dad being.
For me, sometimes it's hard. It's unbelievable for me to see like that. I come from a very poor background in Capoeira in Brazil, and to be here in Los Angeles or to be in China, sometimes it's like dreaming awake.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. A lot different. Yeah.
Completely differently.
Like your dad was a master, right? Capoeira master?
Yeah. My father is the person who introduced me into the art of movement, to Capoeira, when I was 2 years old.
2 years
2
old.
years old. I have no memory, not at all. But from my 3 years on, I definitely remember like going to classes every day, training at home, and like waking up Capoeira, going to bed Capoeira, coming from kindergarten Capoeira and Capoeira everywhere.
Was your life, and you guys lived in the gym, right?
We used to live in the house until we got stole. Somebody got our house and stole everything there.
Oh,
It's life in Brazil, right?
yeah.
And then from that day on, we start to live in the academy. And then there was like 24/7 Capoeira.
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 And you guys are from São Paulo.
From São Paulo. My father comes from Bahia, a little bit north in Brazil, where the whole culture comes from.
Right. The Capoeira culture.
The Capoeira culture comes from there. It's like Salvador, for example, has got like the second largest population of Afro-Brazilians in Brazil. And there you can find so many things that influence the Capoeira. And the Capoeira is like, let's put it that way, it's a mix of manifestation, of African manifestation. That's why we call it Afro-Brazilian holistic art form.
I like that.
Yeah.
Holistic art form.
It's a holistic art
Really?
form. I mean, for some people, it's just a fight.
Right.
For some people, it's just a movement. For some think it's just a weird thing. But I see Capoeira as an art of changing people's lives. So for me, it's something very holistic that goes beyond fight, it goes beyond music, goes beyond. You can find whatever you need for your life.
And so, you grew up with Capoeira, but then you shared with me that you started doing breaking.
Yeah,
You were supposed to go to school.
supposed to go to school. Yeah, supposed to go to school. So I start breaking when I was at the age of 10, about 10 years old. I started to do some breaking. I had this very old video record where I could put a tape and watch some videos like freestyle session, the Battle of Ear. And those to see like the people breaking, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I want to learn that. But, it was very difficult because my father, he just wanted me to become a capoeirista.
Right.
Nothing more.
Traditional Capoeira.
Only Capoeira. No soccer, no, only Capoeira. So the only way for me to learn breaking was like, okay, I have to skip the school. So after about 3 or 4 years training breaking, I was like around 14 already. I started to skip the school for almost 8 months or 9 months.
Out of the year.
I became a great mover, but in the school I was horrible. I was literally horrible. But it was very good for me as a capoeirista because the break dance helped me a lot to overtake my limits in terms of movement. Now, so breakers has no limits, big boys and big girls. They do things that even the science might not believe. Like people spinning like 28 times in the hand. What is that? That's not human. Yeah. So it was very good for me.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I don't know, but it's a mixture of training, dedication, persistence, and being every day, right? And there's something called music, right? So the music in the breaking, in different modalities, the music has the possibility to bring you to another state of mind and make you do things that you yourself don't even believe. That's why sometimes you see big boys and big girls like competing, and they just like they throw a movement that they never could make it before. In Capoeira is the same. Sometimes you feel the energy, you train a flip, acrobatic every day, but you cannot make it. And suddenly in the hall you're like, I'm gonna make this, and you just do it. It's the power of music.
Become one with the music, with the vibration.
Yeah. But if you don't prepare your body, your body won't understand what your mind is trying to tell you. So it's a combination of everything. It's not just, okay, the music is here, I love the music, I'm gonna flip. No, it's not that way.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, Capoeira is what I love from Capoeira is that Capoeira gives you the possibility to believe in yourself, right? Capoeira, there's something called rasteira, right? It's like put you down.
Sweep.
Yeah, it's a sweep. But then Capoeira also teach you something called rolê. It's like a roll, né?
Like a cartwheel kind of out of it.
You fall, and Capoeira teach you how to stand up, right? So it's something that you learn in the circle that you can take it for life. Right? So how many times the life itself might give you a sweep, né? Like a rasteira. How many times? But the question is, are you ready to stand up? So Capoeira helps you how to fall and teach you how to stand up. So that's what I like from the Capoeira. Amazing. That's what I like from Capoeira. So it's not just move around. It's not just move around.
You know, like in judo or even like jiu-jitsu, right? We learn how to fall, like you break fall. Yeah. Okay. So you fall, you're going to fall, and you break fall. But in Capoeira, right, you learn how to roll out of it.
Yeah, because
you roll how to make it look pretty, the fall.
You have to be aware of that, because the question is like, okay, so you fell down. That's it. Now you cannot stay there. Yeah. You cannot stay there.
Can't be laying on your ground.
There's even a phrase say that the great capoeiristas never make their clothes dirt. So that means dirty. You don't fall on your...
That's why everything's white, huh?
Everything's white. Yeah. So you're great capoeirista.
Like, but I messed around with him, and he's going slow motion with me, and I'm like, what? I thought I did a nice move on him, but he's already like on my back. He's already he's falling in a flowy, and he's doing a cartwheel out of it, and I don't even know I'm learning the moves.
Yeah, or you wear like a black pants.
That's what I do.
Wear black pants. Say, no, it's not dirt, man. I'm a great capoeirista.
Unless you train on the floor and they use all the chalk on the floor, then they're gonna see it more. Master, so happy that you're here with us in Burbank.
Thank you so much.
Meeting Alberto Crane, being on this podcast, it's very special, So also, maybe you can share a little bit about people that are going to listen to this later on or been following your work and what to expect when you travel and you teach workshops, 2-hour workshops or 3-hour workshops. Enjoy yourself, training methods, and a little bit of capoeira, a little bit of that. But what are
Yes, I know. Yeah, this is a big question because people doesn't know. People know and doesn't know. Like, okay, Mestre Xuxo is a capoeirista, is a mover, is an artist, is a dancer. What is a coach for fighter? What is that? So I believe that the main question is try to bring the message which people are looking for. So that's the most challenging thing when you're traveling. You come to a room where there's like 100 people, right? And it's 100 different personalities, 100 different purpose of being there and ideas.
Everybody has different goals.
Everybody has got different goals. You have that in jiu-jitsu, in capoeira, in dance, yoga. And as you are trying to bring a message complete out of any frame, right? So what I mean by that is I'm not trying to say, okay, movement is better than capoeira, movement is better. No, movement is in all modalities, right? But the question is, how can I make my ideas become very efficient for your art form. So that's the most challenging thing for me. So that's why when I'm traveling, I don't say only capoeira people allowed to come. Only yoga people allowed to come to our workshops or retreats, events. I try to make it open for everyone because I believe that everybody can learn from each other. Definitely. But when there is only capoeira workshop, I say everybody can come, but that's a capoeira workshop. It's specific for capoeiristas. But I believe you should come, right, to see a little bit. For sure, there might be something for you. And the enjoy yourself. One of the reasons why I developed the enjoy yourself is so that I don't have to say this is only capoeira. This is movement in general. Right? So that's the movement in general. So I do some retreats around the world. Like the next retreat is going to be in 2 weeks in Bali. It's a 10 days retreat. Awesome. And so there are students from yoga coming, students from capoeira, movers in general. And they all want to learn from each other. And in my work there is how to increase their vocabularies in terms of movement so that you can move better. Yeah. So I'm not teaching everything alone. I have some people help me, like Be Born Again from the breakdance. M. Secada, she's an amazing dancer as well. She has a style called Kayo, which is like capoeira and yoga, and she does those clothes, right? Organic. It's very beautiful. Cao Cao is a Chinese scientific yoga teacher. Okay. She teaches the yin yoga, the inner world yoga. And Leticia, she's a DJ for Red Bull, and she's also Abigail. She's often here in Los Angeles. Nice. So I try to bring people from different modalities to teach, right? So in my next goal now is to have somebody from the jiu-jitsu as well. So it's not because I have a bit of experience in yoga means that I can teach yoga. It's not because I have a bit of experience in let's say jiu-jitsu. It means I can teach jiu-jitsu. No, I cannot. So I bring someone who has much more understanding than me to teach on the retreats. Right? So what I do, it's called the movement connection. It's a mixture of different modalities. And I believe that as more vocabulary you have, better can speak. So is language. Nice. Right? You better can explain yourself. So the Enjoy Yourself movement coach, I created 2007 in Austria, trying to have the idea of opening up the mind of capoeiristas, independent of their generations. If it's before my generations, and especially the one that are coming. And why is that? Most of us capoeiristas has issues in the body. Because
has issues in the body.
Issues in the body, like physical issues, like training 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day.
Overuse, misuse.
And the repetition of the same movement.
Very true.
Right? The repetition of the same movement. I'm talking about the physical aspect, right? And the mental aspect is the state of mind. The mind is set just for one thing only. So you get sick physically and mentally. Yeah? So I try to tell people, if you try different modalities, if you try to understand a little bit more about your body, it doesn't mean you're going to become less than what you are already. Now you're not. I'm not saying that. Oh, now you're not capoeirista anymore. Oh, now you're not a fight. No, I'm not saying that.
You're just becoming a better one.
You're becoming a better capoeirista.
You're getting to know your body. You're getting to know your limits. You're getting to know where you can breathe easy.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So
awareness.
You're
improving your awareness. Which improves everything.
Everything.
Your quality of life, your relationships.
I say the way how I learn, I say that my master had 2 methods. I will say in Portuguese that is the method vai and the method de novo, right? It's the method go and the method once again.
One more.
Yeah, one more. Vai, go, once again. But this method nowadays is not helping so much, right? I cannot tell you again and you do it wrong again. No, I need to understand better. I always say, be humble to learn so that you can teach with quality. So once you understand what you're doing, maybe it's going to be even easier for you to digest what you're doing so that you can teach. Right? Movement, nutrition has the same philosophy. You can eat everything, but not everything your body is going to digest. Movement-wise, the same. Right? So maybe you not make it correct because you don't understand. Movement's supposed to heal you, not to hurt you.
Right.
If it's hurting you, something is wrong. Something is wrong. So that's why I tried to understand better my body, myself, first, so that I can try to bring a genuine idea of how can you play, I won't say a better capoeira, but a capoeira where you don't get hurt, right? And maybe possible you don't hurt no one as well. Yeah? Nice. How can you do that? Yeah. And that way of thinking starts to bring me deeply to another dimensions of movement. And capoeira comes from a very machist background. Yeah? I know that's hard to say that, but it's the truth. So if I would say I'm a dancer, they would be like, "Oh, you're not a man."
Yeah, kind of like stuck up, right? Machismo, yeah.
I mean,
We're better than you.
Well, yeah. Why is saying that? Why is saying that? Why? Capoeira is an art of inclusion, right?
At least it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be art of inclusion. So why you cannot include another modalities?
Be open, open mind.
Why you cannot have? So if I have you in my class, so you guys are doing an exchange, right? In terms of knowledge, this is going to the next level.
I think it's the same with all like the other martial art. It depends who it is, right? But there's a lot of maybe Capoeira masters with a closed mindset, which limits the evolution and the best way of the art. And same thing with jiu-jitsu, and you'd have to be forward thinking, right? I mean, there's so many neuroscience, so much technology, and you have to be open to learning it. Like just because we did it that way doesn't mean we have to keep doing it that way.
And also, they don't realize that there's so many people being affected by it.
Right, of course, because those students are gonna do the same way as they were taught, right? But you can have an open mind, and you can still do the same things that were great. But then also do some other things that are great. Like if you're in pain, maybe you should, you should switch it up and change it up, right?
It's hurting me. There's something wrong. There must be something wrong.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I got another question for Mestre. You train every day as well, right? Like I would like to know a little bit, like how do you prepare? Like how long you train, how you breathe, how you recover.
Okay,
a little bit of that aspect.
So the training, like today I was training before I come here, right, in the morning. But I think the biggest challenge for us that love to train but that for ourselves is to understand what is the day made for. Like, what do you want to train? What do you feel like training that day? On the day, right? So the commitment is the first step. Right, I always tell people before going to bed, set up the alarm of commitment for the next day. Right, so it's like you set up the alarm to go work.
Commitment for like your intent. You set your intent.
Just
for the day.
Before you go into bed, you already say, "No, tomorrow I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna train.
I'm gonna show up."
Yeah, and you're gonna make that. There's a commitment that you have with yourself. But the hardest thing is to find the motivation, right? While you're training or before you're training, what do you want to learn? That's a very hard thing, right? That's a very hard thing. The mindset, it's human beings, our thoughts change each 3 seconds. I think something like that, right? So it's constantly changing thoughts. And sometimes I have a commitment. Okay, so today I'm gonna train a workout. But then when I arrive on the spot, right, to train on the place, I don't feel like training a workout. Sometimes I do a movement and I feel like, oh, I just move. Sometimes I want to train and then suddenly my headphone goes to a nice music and I start dancing.
Yep.
Right? But as an athlete, right? Let's put it that way, like a mover, athlete, artist, whatever. So as an athlete, you need to have a little bit of the commitment of, okay, I'm going to enjoy myself, but first I gotta do what I gotta do.
Structure.
Yes, you need to have. You definitely need to have. Right? So the biggest challenge for me in my daily training is the cardio. Right? So the cardio, I hate it. Which is run and work movements without stopping. Let's go repetition of 15 cakes, stop 5 seconds, 15. Let's try to keep that for 20 minutes. Right? So the cardio is something that if I could skip of my training, I would definitely skip. But I need, right? So when the time of performing coming for real, like when you're going to compete, you need to have your cardio. So it's not about dance anymore, right? So training hard and enjoy yourself, but training hard as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So I try to make at least 30 minutes. I know that's not much. People does it longer there, but I try to run every day for 30 minutes before I start my training. So I do my training early morning from 7, sometimes from 7:30 to 10:30, and then I have my breakfast. And I do a break. I'm working my book. I'm writing a book.
Nice.
So
On your method?
now it's called The Childhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can talk about that too if you want.
Yeah.
So then
We'll revisit. I still want to ask you about your history because it was very interesting. We talked a little bit when we
it was
just
quite
had
tough.
lunch.
So the book actually is about my life.
Okay, great. Yeah. So we'll circle back to that. You know, I want to go back. So you started breakdancing, right?
Yeah.
And you're skipping school, you're doing breakdancing. And then when you were 17, 18,
I left Brazil.
you left Brazil,
to Turkey and then Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah, I was 1 year living in Egypt, working as an artist, theater, performing.
You were
many
in
things.
You were in Israel too.
And then from there I went to Israel.
And you even taught like Ido Portal.
Yeah,
Capoeira.
I was teaching capoeira there, and he was also training there for us. And from Israel, I went to Austria, and then in Austria where I set my base.
And that's how you started to kind of develop and kind of see there was something, your own style, your own method. Because you started teaching dancers or ballet dancers, right?
No, I was not. I was not teaching dance. I was working for
dancers. Right. They brought you in.
Yeah.
Because the teachers were like, man, this guy can move like nobody's business. Who's this guy?
Better than the teachers.
That was very funny too because I was teaching university. Was a science university as well.
Science university in Austria, Vienna.
No, in Linz.
Okay.
Linz. So I was teaching in the sport university and science university, and it was very funny because most of the teachers didn't have the same experience as we have from traveling. You know, so that's how they're like, which PhD do you have? Which PhD? I just have the same situation now in Costa Rica.
You have the PhD in time in the mat, growing up.
No, seriously. I have that situation now in Costa Rica. It was so funny. Last week in Costa Rica,
PhD.
She might be watching the video right now. She asking me which PhD you have because you've been teaching like 5-6 university, and I'm like, I had no time. I had no time. I left Brazil when I was 17 almost. And I've been traveling for 147 countries around the world. So maybe that's my PhD.
There you go.
Maybe.
Experience.
Maybe it's experience.
Doing.
Yeah. So
growing up with a Capoeira Master, the father,
Capoeira Master
family.
And my father brings me back to what you're saying because my father is the guy who inspires me to train every day. My father is a badass. He's 63 years old. He is packed. He's a strong guy. I'm not joking. He is big. And I was in Brazil now. And I used to wake up every day like 6 to go training. And then I was trying to to train myself every day in Brazil from 6 to 9:30, latest 10. And I remember I was going back home tired. And then I came home. I passed to see my father. And he was in the academy sweating. And then I say hi to him. Hi, hello, hi. And I went down to my grandmother. And I asked my grandmother. I never forgot that day. I said, Grandma, is my father train every day? And she's like, every day. 3 times, 2 times, 3 times, 2 times a day.
That's amazing.
So you remember that as far as you can remember growing up?
My gosh.
He was the example.
Was the example. And I gonna take that for life.
They say, you till 7, 8 years old, you become, right, whoever influences, right, that you become who you are in those years.
Yeah.
So you're growing up with that, seeing your dad
See
training
my dad,
all day
see my
long.
dad. There's a story that my
Beast mode.
man, there's something very powerful, which is when I was a kid. This is very powerful, seriously. When I was a kid, my father used to sit me outside of the house, and he was training. And I remember that he was throwing his sweat on me. Man,
How old are you at the time?
I was like maybe 5. I get goosebumps just to imagine that. He used to throw his sweat on me, and he's like, take it, beggar, take it. So he was wishing me like healthy energy, positivity, possibilities to become somebody in life.
Possibilities.
Like whatever he didn't have, he was giving me. Like, this is powerful, man. This is powerful. And so that guy,
That's what's up.
that guy
Okay.
is the guy who motivated me. When I moved to Austria, the biggest challenge that I had was the racism, right? Like people tells you like you shit nigga, you whatever. And the fact that I can speak German. So when I was trying to talk to them, they were like, don't speak my language. People slap my face because I'm black, or not accept me because of what I do and how I am and my history. So, and people ask me, how was it for you? I'm like, that was okay. The hardest thing for me was to go through my father. That was the hardest thing for me as a human. But on the other side, he was the guy on my back, pushed me to make that happen, to go through it. It's not easy for a kid to train 10 hours, right? To train 11 hours. If you look, my back's full of marks. I have scarves on my back. You see here, I have 4 stitches in my mouth, elbows broke, leg broke. Everything for capoeira, right? So, as a kid, you think, you don't want, right? You cannot see what that person is thinking about in the future. So this guy became my huge inspiration to become something in life, right? To train every day, to
Be your best. Be your best.
To be your best, my friends. To be your best.
Man, when he said marks on my back, sounds like you got whipped with that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
You got whipped?
because I didn't went to school.
Oh.
Yeah, I have.
So he whipped you
Yeah,
on your back.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like a escravo,
escravo.
like a slave.
He's like that was heavy, my friend. It was heavy.
So you earned your breakdancing.
My
your
breakdance. It cost me a lot.
with those scars, huh?
Oh
Those
my
scars.
God, they're gonna be
So you're gonna take
forever.
those to your
Yeah.
grave. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad.
Yeah. Man, it's so.
You're telling me like he saw you actually because you started you did some competitions, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys got like second place, your crew
Yeah, he saw me in the newspaper.
in Brazil.
But that was not the problem. That was not the problem because I told him I went there for a friend of mine to watch it. But a friend of him saw me training acrobatics beside the school. And then he told my father, wow, your son is flipping a lot, right? He's a good.
So he just didn't want you to flip, or he just
No,
wanted
no,
you to
no,
train?
no.
He wanted him to
it's-
go to school.
No, it's fine.
like-
but the guy's like,
What's he?
where did you see him flipping? No, I saw him now.
Right now.
My father,
During
now?
school time?
School time, my friend. It's supposed to be in the school. And my father, in the school? No. Beside. So I always to take shower before going back to the academy, right? And then I came home. I came to the academy, and he's like, "How was the school?" And I said, "It was good." And he looked to me and said, "Let's go there."
Oh my God.
My friend, I remember when we got in the school, people like, "Hey, Xuxo, how are you? How are you doing?" Because they haven't seen me for a long time.
Oh man. With your dad.
With my dad. And my dad is one of the first capoeira teacher of our city. So police officers know him, bandits know him, woman, cachorro, dogs, chicken, cats, everybody knows him.
They know not to mess with them too.
Everybody knows the guy. It's the first teacher that. So when we got in the school, people could see his face that something was not right. And I was still lying in front of the director. I was like, no, I was here today. And the director like, no, you wasn't here today until the past 8 months.
Yeah.
No Brasil, no Brasil we say, há mal que vem para o bem. That's the bad thing that comes for good.
Or the good thing come from the bad.
Yeah, or good thing from the bad, yeah. But so all these kind of things today.
So what I want to hear the end of the story. So they said no, you were lying, and then
No,
you guys
yeah.
went home.
No.
And that's when you got the belt.
No. He looked to me. We spent like maybe half an hour in the secretary in the direction room because my math teacher, he came. His name is Erico, and he came, and he's like, "Hey, Xuxo, how is the morning school going?" Because I told the teacher I was starting in the morning. And my father, morning school. So there was an exam on that day. And they said, no, teacher, I wasn't the exam. And the teacher, he recognized that
You weren't.
I was lying. So, and he tried to help me. The teacher like, are you sure she was? I said, yeah, look, find my name there. And they couldn't find my name. And then my father, okay, so you're not going. My father said, go down now to the academy. My friend arrived in the academy, and
What were you thinking on that walk? The longest walk of your life.
Oh my gosh! And then, oh God,
I'm gonna die. What were the thoughts? I want to know the thoughts.
oh my
What were the
gosh,
thoughts?
man! I got in the academy. That guy looked to me. He beat me. He's like, not close hands, no, but gallo punch, slapping, facing, pushing, and train. And then start the nightmare. Train. So the thing is that the punishment, it wasn't one day only. It was every time he would remember that every time he would remember that I missed the school.
He went hard on you.
He went hard on me. And then it was, man, this is strong, guys. This is my book. We walked home. My father asked, so he made me walk my knees.
Walk on your knees.
From down to my home, right?
Crawl, basically.
Yeah. Knees on the floor, hands on the
Hands behind your back.
Yeah. And man, it's the first time I'm saying that in a podcast. Right? He was saying, I have to, he was saying, I need to ask for forgiveness. So I was saying, I'm sorry, Father, never more going to lie to you again. I'm sorry, Father, never more going to lie to you again. And he was
Whipping you.
behind, and he was like, you're going to suffer like Jesus Christ to become somebody in life. And never more lie to everybody, but never lie to your father. Never lie to your mother. Yeah, he was heavy. Yeah. But I kept lying anyways. Kept lying.
To get out of there.
So, yeah, they went there.
I'd say all the The good things came from your dad.
Everything.
The lessons.
People like
As a parent myself, you know, do you have any kids?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just now, I like, you know, you heard him, right?
Yeah.
You heard him.
So
And
people ask me, people that know my story and doesn't know him and know where I'm standing right now, they asking me how that person is your inspiration. Man, he is. If it wouldn't be that guy, if it would be my mama to give me away, right? My mom have to give me away when I was 3 to him. If it would be the courage of my mama to accept that, and my father to guide my way, to give everything he had on me, I'm not sure where I would be. My brother is in prison for more than 20 years already. For a long time. So my brother was going, it's not a brother, we grew up together. But he went through the same things I went, maybe even harder, but he could not take it.
Keep it up.
So he went to another world of drugs, killing, and so. But my father, he was like, no, right? So for example, there's something that happened when I was 3, and then you understand my teaching methods from where it comes. When I was 3, my father came home late night. He came home late night, and he asked me to get up. Girl, stand up. And so I remember clearly my mom was like, let him in peace, let him in peace. And my father told me, go to the kitchen, take a chair. And the chair, it's in my house. Maybe you saw that sometimes I share this chair in the Instagram. So the chair is in my house, still there. So my father, take the chair. And that was in the living room. Go on the chair. Step over it. Step on the chair. And then he looked to me and he said, flip. Backflip. I didn't know what is a backflip. I didn't know what is. I was 3 years. So that's why I remember from my 3 years on, whatever I went through in Capoeira, because how could I forget that fact, right? And he say, flip. And I was so scared. I was so scared of flipping. Flip. I'm asking you to flip. So I just flip. But then I landed my mouse in the chair. And my mouse. And start bleeding. Right? And guess what he said? He said,
flip again.
Again. Now try to picture that in your mind. You're bleeding, right? You're 3 years old, and your father in front of you wanting to hug you, but at the same time, it's like, you're gonna make it again. And I flip again. What happened? I fail again. Man, I did 7 times. And then I landed my feet. And they say, one more time. And I landed my feet again. And they told my mom, wash it with salt to stop the blood. Right? To stop bleeding. So next day, my mom, we went to the hospital, did everything. My mom packed. Next day, it was late night.
Okay.
Next day, mouse like a flower. Then my mom packed our stuffs. We left home. Right? But then in the middle of the night, my father, he knew where we were. So he came to my grandmother's house where my mom was singing by her mom. And my father said it like that. I came to take what is mine, which is me. So I hold my mama's hand and I say, let me go. Just let me go. Let me go, mom. I never forget that. So she opened the door. He took me and closed the door. And he put me his shoulder and he said, hold my hand. So we walk all the way home. Now comes the most inspirational fact. That's how I start my book. My book starts with those phrases. We go home and they say, sit down in the living room. And he looked to me and they say like that. I gonna make you one of the greatest capoeiristas in the world. It doesn't mean I am, right? He said like this. I'm gonna make you one of the greatest capoeiristas in the world. One day you're gonna speak English. One day you're gonna travel with airplanes. You're gonna have food. One day you're gonna have a house for you. Nobody gonna talk shit to you. One day you're gonna play capoeira, even the great China wall. Look where I'm living.
Yeah, I'm gonna get me emotional. What's that?
Man, he's saying, look this. He's saying, one day you're gonna play capoeira, even the great China wall.
And your dad had never been out of the country, right?
No.
Yeah, maybe even
Man. No, we grew up,
poverty.
in the ghetto.
Yeah.
I mean, people from his school was traveling a lot, but people from our class, it's difficult. Man, it's difficult. You have to create possibility out where there's no possibilities. You have to create it. You have to find the ways. Right? But then at the end of the phrase he said, mas você tá fudido. But you're gonna be fucked because it's gonna be hard for you. But I'm gonna make you one of the great capoeiras. And he believed. Not me. When I was 17,
how old you were that day? You were
3.
You were 3 years old.
I was 3. So when I was 17, I found a way to leave Brazil. I found a company. I did audition. I went through. They needed 3 capoeiristas. I went through, and they asked me, "Okay, so you have passport?" I said no. Do you have money? I said no. Do you speak English? No. How old are you? 17. You cannot get out of Brazil. So they did a letter for me. My father signed the letter. And I told my father this is for the English school, right?
He lied again.
Lie again, for good. Mal que me parou bem. So I did my passport in less than, I think, like 3 weeks. 1 or 2 days before I get out of Brazil, I told my father, I say, Mestre. I call him Mestre, right? I don't call him father. I say, Mestre, I'm leaving Brazil. And he saw my suitcase. My grandmother saw my suitcase, and he realized that it's for real. So my friends, they brought me to the airport. My father gave me 50 reais. 50 reais, it's like $15.
Yeah.
Times
$15.
4.
Yeah.
Divide by 4.
Yeah.
Depending on the time of
At the time, yeah.
Maybe in the 90s was like a higher. It
High,
was 1 to 1.
Yeah.
Still though.
So he gave me 50 reais in the small Bible. And he looked to me.
$20. We'll say $20.
Man, that moment, it's crazy I'm talking to this now because I wrote that like 2 weeks ago in my book. It was the end of the book. That was the moment that for the first time I cried so much without having nobody punch me, without fears. Just to see that man looking to me. He didn't say nothing, but I could see that Jesus, everything that he fight for, an opportunity, one day it would come. So I left, and I was almost 2 years without talking to him. About 2 years without talking to him. And somehow he found my number when I was in Egypt. He found my number, and he called me. So it was like unknown call. So I picked up, and he was like, my son. I say, Mestre. And he's like, where are you? I say, I'm in Egypt. And he's like, I'm sorry. Man, so he's like, I'm sorry for everything I did for you. I'm sorry. I said, no. I said, Mestre. And he shut down the telephone. So I didn't know my father was having alcoholic problems, issues, because he lost me, right? So he lost me. So he was going through a difficult situation in Brazil. So when I had a bit, when I had a better situation, I was able to go back to Brazil. And I remember that he was coming from the supermarket with my grandmother. He couldn't see me. And then I called him and I say, Pai, Father, right? I say, Father for this day. I say, Pai. And I remember that I could see him. He stopped. He just stopped. He didn't look back. And then I say, Professor, teacher, it's me. And then he dropped the bags in the floor, and he was losing conscience. And I hugged him. I said, Mestre, where is this strong man? He was gone. He couldn't believe I was there. He couldn't. And I say, Mestre, thank you so much, Mestre. I love you so much. I love you so much. And then after that, I was able to bring my father for the first time to Austria. I brought him to Austria, and he taught my students there. Wasn't easy, right? It wasn't easy because he still was the hard guy. And I like that he's like this, right?
Yeah.
And but today time, my friend, seriously, this man is the biggest inspiration ever for me as an artist, as a mover, as a dancer, as a capoeirista, is the guy who guided me. Yeah,
and so after that, he was able to kind of get back to.
It took time. Yeah. He doesn't drink alcohol anymore. He doesn't drink alcohol anymore. He doesn't drink.
Once he saw you're okay, and he didn't lose you.
Now, right now, it's like he started to respect me more when I lost my daughter. When my daughter passed away, my first daughter, when she passed away, and he saw the tattoo, and he's like, "What is this?" And I say, "It's a tattoo." Because he talks to people face to face like this. And then I say, "You were like, why you did this?" I said, "No, because I lost a daughter. Your granddaughter. She passed away. And she wasn't the birth, right?" And then he started crying. And then I think that from that day on, I think he starts to see me as an adult, as
a father, maybe.
As a father as well, yeah. I don't know how to explain that, and so now he's the person that always asks for tips for me. He's always ask me to support him in terms of having a better understanding how to treat people, how to talk to people, how to teach. And I say, Mestre, you are the one who taught me all this.
Yeah, special.
Yeah, you are the one who taught me all that, Mestre. And now the information is just going back in a different way, maybe in a way that you can understand. Because he also grew up in the way on this two method, the method go and once again. So that method, try again and go for it. That was the method he learned. No much information, right? And so now it's just I'm teaching him in different way, right? But he's also my big guide.
You know, like they say like old school, but there's a reason why it worked for forever, right? For thousands of years or hundreds of years. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
It makes your spirit stronger.
And I really believe that we need to have that. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about aggression. I'm against about that.
Right.
But the power
of the mind.
It needs to be there. Seriously, it needs to be there. Because if your spirit, if your mind is not strong, man, your body won't make one step forward. You're always going to find excuse so that you don't have a fucking commitment.
True.
Yeah. If your spirit's not strong enough, if your mind, if you don't have somebody to tell you, hey, again.
Especially the age that we're living in.
The age
Everybody's on their phones.
Cell phones,
and,
technology.
Getting out of the house and coming to class, commitments.
You know, you had mentioned to me about multiple sclerosis.
Yeah. That's my best friend.
You were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, or?
Yeah, I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS. It's about 3.5 years ago in Austria. I remember when I got diagnosed, I was driving. I was having a very stressful time. I was doing like 2 countries one day sometimes.
Teaching.
Training.
Yeah.
So I had my own event in Austria, and I had no time to come to my own event because I had 2 other events, one in Holland and one in Italy. So I remember I was like, okay, I cannot come on Friday, guys, but I'll show up on Saturday. So I took a car. I rent a car no, I think it was my own car. I don't remember. In Italy. So I drove all the way from Italy to Austria. And when I arrived in Austria, there was a class happening there. She was teaching there. And I remember that she stopped the class and she asked me to come to the circuit. Everybody hugged me, welcome at your own house. And I started to play some instrument. And after I want to do a little speech, and then I realized that I was having double vision. I say, guys, listen, I'm having double vision. People like, oh, you crazy. I say, okay. So the event finished on Saturday. I had the orange juice, and I felt like a weird feeling in my mouth, blisters, right in my mouth, and I started to have fever. So I went to bed. I said, guys, I go to bed and I'm gonna wake up a little bit later for the party. I passed. I woke up to train at like 5:30 or 6. I woke up to train. And I washed my face and I was blind. I was a little bit blind on the right eye. I didn't care. I was like, okay. So I went running, I trained. Sunday I was teaching in the morning. But then in the evening, it was getting worse. And around like 5 o'clock noon, I was having a game with a friend of mine. And then after the game, I realized that I was blind. My right eye was blind. And then I said, guys, I'm going to the hospital. The event was still happening. I'm going to the hospital. So and then I got in the hospital. And so Sunday in Austria is quite difficult, for make exams, especially Sunday, like late afternoon. So they did a bunch of tests on me, but they could not believe it's MS. They were like, there's a possibility of, no, we don't want to tell you. There's a possibility.
Because you're young, healthy
guy.
guy.
Your body's strong. They did all these coordination exams, right? They're like, okay, so you have to stay here. You cannot come back. I said, no, I have to come back. It's my event. So no, you have to stay. I said, no, I cannot stay. I'm going. So I left. I went to the class, and the people, and how was it? I said, it was fine. What do you have? Oh, nothing. They don't know. So I come back next day, and that's when started my nightmare. I went through so many exams, which lots of exams. And then after a few days,
what's interesting for me, you telling the story, is that you didn't accept, whatever you went blind in the eye. You kept training.
I kept training.
They told you got to stay here. You might have multiple sclerosis.
I said no.
You still showed up for class and you did your event.
Yeah.
So it like your dad's influence, the mindset,
It's in
the mindset.
It's there.
And I'll share you later my my experience too.
I want to know too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead
and then when comes like 3-4 doctors to tell you, the results of exams, that something not so good is. And the doctor say, listen, you have something called multiple sclerosis. For me, I thought it's something fancy. I didn't never heard about it. I'm like, hey, what is that? They said, no, it's a chronic thing. And they explained to me.
Multiple sclerosis, autoimmune disease.
Yeah, autoimmune disease. And on the day they told that to me, I was going to have a musical record. And one of my students, maybe you know him, his name is Professor Bahia. Maybe you know him. He was with me. So in the evening, I went to the studio to record, and I'm recording. And my student's reading about it. He's watching me and reading. And then on the break, it's like, Mestre, do you know what is that? I say, no idea. Blind. I was blind. So no, he say, Mestre, this is serious.
You're still blind?
I was blind. No, not now. No, it's much better.
You're blind to this, whatever they told you.
Yeah.
Like me, too. Like me.
He was researching what
he was researching while I was
recording.
And then he said, Mestre, this is very seriously. It's very serious. I'm like, what is that? And then he started to explain to me, to tell me things. And then I was like, I was worrying a little bit. So I have to go back to the doctor again for another exam. And then I got the results on the same day that I have to fly to Brazil. So the doctor was an asshole to me. I remember he took the computer and he typed there, multiple sclerosis. And then he started to tell me shit like, listen, what you have is this and this and this and this. What you have to take is this and this. What's going to happen to you in 3-4 years is this and that. A wheelchair and injections, you know, this.
Your life's over.
Your life is over. And I was going to Brazil on that day, late in the afternoon. Only for 4 days, because I had a shooting, a film in Chicago.
Filming.
A film, a movement filming. And then I went to Brazil. In the plane, I started to digest all the words the doctor was saying. I was checking so many things. I arrived in Brazil. I was shocked.
Destroyed.
Okay, Quebrado,
All
you got it.
right. Thank you so much again, Mestre Xuxo. I'm going to go start getting ready for the workshop. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you, Alberto, for having us on the podcast.
Okay, brother. So yeah, we were talking about you're on the plane ride to Brazil, thinking of digesting.
Yes, so I arrived in Brazil, and when I got home, my grandmother, she said, "What happened?" I said, "I have this disease," and they have no idea what is that in Brazil. My family, and my grandmother, she went through cancer, right? She went through cancer, and
that's your dad's mother.
Yeah. So she did the surgery. She cut half of it, but then she didn't do the chemotherapy, and she was able to heal herself. Can you believe it? Without chemotherapy? So she looked to me and she said, "Listen, what you have is just stress, and the huge mission ahead. You don't have none of those diseases. Just keep it going." So I came to my mom. My mom went.
It's your dad's mother told you that.
Yes, my mom went through cancer for 3 years. And they work in the school, cleaning house, cleaning the school, cleaning, making food for babies. And then she looked to me, she said, "My son, I was able to go through the cancer for 3 years, doing chemotherapy and the radiotherapy with the intestine outside."
What therapy? Jerson?
Yeah.
Jerson therapy.
Yeah. And my mom was like, I went through all that because I want to be alive once you make a dream come true. So you cannot give up now. So I came out of Brazil full of inspiration and motivation to keep going, but still I was blind. I couldn't see. I was blind. And every time I was getting stressed, I was having double vision the other eye. So I came to the shooting in Chicago. And then in Chicago was amazing, but it was very intense for me. A lot of famous and great artists, and I could not make a mistake. And there I was having my first challenges. I couldn't have the notion. I did have the understanding of space.
Spatial awareness.
I didn't know what is too close, what's too far, so I couldn't see my partner too
From a
close.
Capoeira Master. A guy who's been doing Capoeira since he was doing backflips since he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Was losing his spatial awareness.
Losing my
ability.
spatial awareness. This is crazy. And then I went through that. And the doctor gave me those medicines, and I got lots of weight. And
you gained a lot of weight.
Yeah. And my body could not take it. My body could not take it. And a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, her name is Magali. She lives in San Francisco. She introduced me to somebody called Terry Bowles. And the Terry Bowles, she's developing her method specific for multiple sclerosis, for immune disease.
Autoimmune.
Yeah. And it's about food, about nutrition. Something that I never really thought about, that we are what we eat. Right? That's when I was like, okay, sure.
Have you heard of Dr. Wall's protocol? Dr. Wall's protocol?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Terry, that's her. Wall's protocol, it's her. And I was like, okay, sure. I travel at least 3-4 countries a week. So it's not the same as someone who is based in one place. So you have to make a choice. Or you're gonna have the same mindset you have for training, for change your life, or you just keep going the way you are, and then in 3 years, you're gonna make all the words the doctor told you become reality. So what do you want, Xuxo? So I I had a seat with myself and I had a conversation with myself. Okay, Xuxo, what is your dream? Is to keep inspiring, motivating people, right? First, you need to motivate, inspire, and change yourself first so that you can have the possibility to make your dream come true or follow your mission. And then I had a mind shift complete. I changed my nutrition. I changed my purpose of being traveling. It's like, why I'm traveling? It's not just to show off to people. It's not, no. I just want to bring a message to people. I start to take more time to myself. I start to meditate. I start to understand more about me. I start to focus more on writing. I set up goals for me. I try to release all the stress from my back. All the stress. And I realized that every time I was visiting the doctor, she was telling me, you're very strong here because you don't want to take medicine. And you always tell me about Dr. Coimbra from Brazil, right? And terribles and about food and the doctors from the traditional medicine, some of them, they don't believe that food, lifestyle, positivity,
mindset
can heal you. They don't believe in that. Some of them don't believe in that. And she was like, okay, Xuxo, you need to do brain scan always you come here. But let me tell you, Xuxo, you're doing great. It's working for you. So, Xuxo, if it's working for you, then just keep doing. Just keep doing. And that's what I'm doing. Now I'm trying to keep very positive. No alcohol, no smoking, no drinking, no negative energy, thoughts. No. Positivity. I know that is difficult, it's hard, but you need to be positive as much as possible, my friends. You need. We are here. I believe that this life I'm living right now, it happened once and gonna be just once. The same life. Maybe I will come again, another life, but for sure, that moment is just now. So if you can make a change, it's right here. It's right here, Xuxo. It's right here. And then I told the sclerosis like this. Maybe you had the same conversation with it, which is, Olá, sclerosis. Nice to meet you. My name is Xuxo.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you in my life. Listen, I'm going to give you whatever you need. So what do you need? You need good food. I'm going to give you. No drinking, okay. No smoking, no drugs, no negativity, no what? No gluten, no what do you need? Sleeping, no stress, no inflammation, I'm going to give you. But listen, I need you to understand that when I want to move, I want to be able to move. When I want to travel, I need to let me travel. When I go to complete my mission, I'm going to take you with me, but I need you to let me go. So I have this conversation, right? If it depends on me, we head into success. But if it depends on sclerosis, I'm going to try to change the mind of it so that we can give the hands and go to success and find ways to bring other people. My father was against me telling people that I have MS because my father, he cannot see myself in the wheelchair. I said, no, Mestre. You tell people because there is a possibility to be a better human. Man, you are the first person that I met in my life so successful and have sclerosis. You, the first person that I met, and I'm shocked and surprised, and I know that it's possible.
Yeah,
right?
I tell my master, my master, you know, just the mindset that I got from martial arts, from jiu-jitsu, being, you know, in the grind, you know, trying, you know, on the mats, giving my heart and soul to, you know, become the best. Yeah. and the hardships, that's what forged my mind. And of course I have like really good role models, like family, but he gave me that spirit. Yeah. My jiu-jitsu, the jiu-jitsu, and my brothers too, like you see Alexandre and these guys that my old friends on the mats, and but the tack fit gave me the precision of what I needed to do, like the breathing, the movement part, which you got with capoeira, but also you've adapted it too. Yeah. So it's like a blessing in disguise, like some of these things, because I'm sure it's giving you a higher awareness, a sensitivity. Right, of things that are good, things that aren't good.
Yeah.
Because you have to adapt. Wow. And so same thing with me. And like Scott Sonnen, the creator of the Tack Fit, I probably have a Tack Fit shirt underneath here.
Oh, nice.
But it's giving me the tools, the precision. Like my professor, my master, Draculino. He gave me like this. I feel like the spirit. My group, my team. In Brazil, living in Brazil when I was in my late teens, and all those years, it really made me. Any success I've had in my life, everything it's from like those hard times, of living in Brazil. Imagine,
lived in Brazil. Wow,
I lived in Brazil, and people taking advantage of me. I lived in Rio de Janeiro, and I lived in Belo Horizonte.
Belo Horizonte, okay.
Those places, because I became really good friends. Well, the team, he was just starting out, and I felt it was the right place for me, which ended up being the best place for me.
Best place for you, wow.
But when I first got diagnosed with MS, I didn't accept really, kind of too, but I he's like, the doctor was like, here's a stack of drug books, decide which ones you want to take.
Wow.
And then, it was a fight office or a fight doctor, it was the fight doctor. So all the fighters, they go to get their medicals done there. And so the nurses and all the people in the offices, they were like, "Oh, sorry, basically like my life's over, like I'm gonna die or something."
Wow.
That's the way they treated me, right? And I just kind of ignored it, right? But I asked the doctor. I was like, "Can I still do jiu-jitsu?" Because there's no punching, right? There's no punching to the head. And he's like, "Sure." So I was like, "Okay."
So that's what I'm going for.
So I registered for a tournament. And I started with one because I was only fighting professionally and, mixed martial arts, And so I did one, I did two, did three.
Wow.
And I went all around the world. I did like a world tour. I went to the Amazon. Wow. I went to, you name it, all over the world. All over the world, Asia, all over Europe.
Wow.
Every place you could compete. I did it. Munich, Germany, because when I was a kid, I lived in Germany.
You live in Germany?
For 7 years. I spreche Deutsch.
Yeah.
So I was, I did everything because I was like, what if I can't do this in 6 months? What if I, because there's, sometimes you're kind of numb and, and I figured some things out, But anyway, I went on a world tour. I even won a world championship, beating like a guy who was on the jiu-jitsu cover. Like the month, and I was like, cool. And then I did another tournament the next weekend, and then I did another tournament the weekend after that.
Wow.
Like really pushing myself. So 3 weeks in a row. So yeah, because one of my friends, he lived in the south of Spain, so we were like, we're gonna do a seminar there, and then he ended up not going with me to the tournaments. Wow. But I did 3 weeks in a row, and so my last one was in Madrid, Spain. My last stop. So it was 3 weeks in a row.
And you feeling strong?
The night before the tournament, I felt like not good. I wasn't able to eat, Wow. And every time I would travel, I would not be good. I'd be like swollen, and I wouldn't feel good. I'd be like numb and just I'd figure it out, right? I would figure it out, like just the mindset, right? I'm gonna do this or die trying. What if I can't do it? I'm gonna do my best. It's the mindset, right? Wow. Same thing. Your dad ingrained in you as a little boy, doing backflips on that chair. You're going to do it until you do it, and I'm going to do it until I can't do it, And so the last one was in Madrid, Spain. And the night before the tournament, I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't able to eat. And I thought, man, I'm probably just tired from all the traveling and the competing and the adrenaline. I'm just tired, And so I get there the next morning, or I wake up in the next morning, and as you have breakfast, and I couldn't really eat that breakfast in the morning. And I'm like, okay, I felt like it's probably the same, I get to the tournament and I wasn't feeling good.
Fatigue.
Yeah, I thought it was fatigue, thought it was fatigue. I thought just, the adrenaline, And I talked to my first opponent, and we become friends, and then we'd compete. And then I do my move, and then he throws his weight on my stomach. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna throw up, you know, like I'm gonna vomit.
Wow.
And so then I somehow I survive, you know, because if you throw up, you get disqualified, you know. And so luckily I held it in.
Strong mind.
I held it in, and I lost, you know, but I didn't throw up, you know. And then as soon as the match was over, I threw up. Oh, you know, everything came out. You know, I had food poisoning.
Food poisoning. Oh my gosh.
And so I was like, you know, white, you know, and there was another match, and there was a three people division. So
after that,
yeah. So they said, you okay? You want to go? And I was like, you know, I was like, okay, let's go. You know.
Wow.
And so even in the match, like I was in it to win it, man, you know, so
strong.
And I got choked out unconscious for the first time in my life. I just woke up, you know, and I'm like looking up, and I'm like, oh wow, okay.
Wow.
And so I was really sad. I was really bummed out. I was like, man, you know, like.
But that was just your warrior spirit.
Yeah, for sure. I fought to the death, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh man, and then the first guy I went against, he's like, you're gonna do the open weight division, like any weight to open with big guys, you know. And I was like, oh, no, I don't know. You know, I was so sad, you know. I was like, just do it, man. Maybe you'll feel better in a couple hours. So I said, okay, you know. And so I put my name down, and then I started like saying to myself, like, I believe in my technique.
Yeah.
I believe in my technique, and I like over and over and over like a mantra, like a crazy person. And I kind of felt myself feeling bad. I couldn't drink water. I couldn't eat anything. Still, you know, I was very weak. You know, like I always felt like I had the flu.
Poison,
I was poisoned. Yeah. And I do my first match, and I win. You know, yeah. I find a way. Like I keep saying that in my head, and I believe my technique, and it give me like a high.
Wow.
You know, in a way, like it made me overcome. You know, and then I win another match, and I go against like some big guy, and then I win the whole thing. I win the first place.
You went to a spiritual. You went to spiritual level.
And I even did another division after the no-gi division. You know, I did more matches that night, and I still not eating, drinking. And then after that, you know, it was like, you know, it was maybe one of the highlights of my career of competing and fighting. And after that, I knew I got this.
Wow.
I got this multiple sclerosis. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Right after that.
Yeah, I just knew I got this.
Wow.
It's all in the mind, you know.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah. Man.
I knew
gosh,
it.
Man.
I got this, you know. I got this, you know.
That's amazing.
So you know, and then my subconscious told me I need to go to see the Scott Son and the Tac Fit guy.
Yeah.
Because I felt he was the link that I needed, you know, the knowledge to do the right things, the breath, the movement. You have
the body, but then you need the spirit as well. You need
the techniques, right? The techniques, yeah. So what do I do? What do I need to do? You know, and then so I went, and then I went all in with TacFit. I went to every single place. I did a world tour, also trying to really learn the system and understand it. I didn't dream for 10 years. I didn't do a lot of things. You know, I would wake up kind of numb, right? Different parts of my body numb, and even my speech. Right, I couldn't speak well.
Okay.
I couldn't formulate my words right. You know, I had to teach, right, for a living, and sometimes I couldn't speak.
I know how's that. Yeah, I know.
And things started to improve the more reps I did with the tac fit, with the breath, with the movement, the correct structure.
Yeah.
And I started to dream again. I hadn't dreamt for like 10 years.
Wow. See.
And so I felt things happening inside of me. And so I was like, okay, I'm doing the right things. Wow. And it's kind of like some of the certs, it's very, very difficult physically, you know, but the more I did it, the better I got.
The better you got, yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm doing the right thing.
You know, if you, that's the very important thing. When you get diagnosed with multiple sclerosis or any kind of disease, you cannot just follow what the doctors tell you, what is right or what is wrong. I think you need to study yourself a little bit. So it's like, okay, so that's the medicine, but maybe what is good for someone, maybe for me is not good. Just like food, right? Maybe your body likes it, but my body doesn't like it. So first is to understand what is the multiple sclerosis, right? Just try to understand what is it. How are you in that situation right now? How is your emotion right now? How is your healthy right now? And are you training? Are you taking time to yourself? Are you meditating? How are you right now? And how your lifestyle can affect, right, or improve the sclerosis. If the lifestyle you're having right now is not that good, then you're gonna change. But before you do anything the doctors tell you, I think you need to give yourself a chance to rechange, that picture. That's what you did.
We did a little video, you know, the whole thing, and you know, I got involved business-wise with this, the TACFIT, you know, because it's changed my life. It's given me life back.
Yeah.
And I'm doing like 18, 19-hour days of work.
Wow.
I get up at 3 a.m.
Wow.
I had a monk on here, actually, speaking of meditation and things.
Wow,
and
cool.
he was a teenager. He woke up at 2:30 in the morning and he started meditating at 3.
Wow.
So I'm like, if he can do it, one of our students here, I can do that
You
too.
can do, yeah.
And it's because I needed to put in extra hours.
Wow.
So the fact that I'm able to live my life, live more of my life, live better with MS.
With MS, yeah. Wow.
All because of, you know, all these movement
The
things.
movement, yeah.
So
Me, it was the same. I think not just the capoeira, right, but the endure self. It's like the endure self, right? So the endure self, the movement in general, it helped me a lot to improve my spirit, right? So I live in China, and the Tai Chi, for example, right? So going in China, I always wake up early morning to train in the park.
Tai Chi.
Yeah, in the park. So I see the people training there, and I'm training as well. I'm on my side, training my movement, and to watch the way how they breathe and the whole spirit. Connect yourself to the nature, right? Yourself to the nature. Connect to yourself, and man, your life gets much better. If you feel better, you become better. You know. The doctor told me, Xuxo, what makes you feel bad? And then I told her, when I come here in the hospital. So every time I come to the hospital, I feel bad. That's the only place where I feel that I cannot beat the MS. But once I step out, I'm like, I'm going to beat it. Right? So your environment, your surround, the way how you think.
For sure. Like, there's no way I'm not going to be a good example for my students, my jiu-jitsu. It's so much of it's everything who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like, I don't have time for it.
And you know, it's crazy. Unconscious, I don't have you don't have.
You can tell somebody else that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's amazing that unconscious. It's a very unconscious thing. You start to become inspiration for many people. Just the tech fate, the endure self, the capoeira, the movement, the way we are, and how we deal with things, and how we see such a diagnosis and such a heavy disease, and how much love we have for carrying that with us. It starts to inspire people without we even think about it. I don't know if you have the same thing. I just think about MS when somebody asks me.
Yeah.
If you don't ask me, I forget about it. When I'm training, when I'm spinning, jumping, I don't think I have MS.
Yeah.
And when I tell people like, no, how come you have MS? So I feel the same, right? I feel like I just think about MS when somebody tells me. Right now, before, I was thinking every day, every moment, I have MS. But then after having the mind shift, it became part of me to be the way how I am. It's just become my step. When you make the first step, you don't think about the seconds. It's very organic. You walk without thinking. You just think about where you go. But the step itself, you don't think anymore. It's part of you. MS is the same. I'm heading to healthy, right? And success. But the steps I'm doing, it's happening unconscious already.
Your dad putting on your shoulders when you're a little boy.
Yeah.
3 years old.
3 years old.
My son is going to be this.
Yeah. You know? So I guess, there's a message for everybody, right? So, movement, lifestyle, the way how you live your life, right? Your breath, what you drink, what you put in your body, what you put in your spirit. your environment, your surround, what you speak, what you hear, that can change your
What you
life.
think.
It can change. It can
It's
change.
everything.
I say it like this: movement, art, dance, music. It cannot change the world, but it can change people, and the people can change the world. Right. So that's what we're doing unconscious.
Amazing. Amazing to talk to you today.
Oh,
Get
it's
to
my
know you.
pleasure.
Man,
It's my pleasure.
man, thank you
My
for
pleasure.
sharing your story.
Yes, my pleasure.
Amazing.
It's my
Wow.
pleasure. I hope to
Wow.
get know more about the tech fit, to know more about you.
I'm looking forward to your
to
workshop
get
as well.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you so
And
much.
really, really great to meet you.
No, you inspire me. You inspire me because seriously, I just heard about you. Never met you, right? But I heard about the legacy, about and now you inspire me as a human being. As a human being, for me, all your glories, for me, it makes no sense when the backstage has no humildade.
Humility.
If your backstage don't have a history, right, your glory never inspired me. So now, your backstage helps me, inspire me to create my glory. And that glory also will have the same way as you. People going to see my background and they're going to get inspired as well. So the way you are, how humble you are, how amazing you are. I don't know so much you on the stage, but I see you here on the couch, on the backstage. So whatever you do on the stage, what I saw you here going to influence my eyes when I see that. Right? So you shine even more in my eyes than in the eyes of many people that just see you on the stage only.
Thank you.
He won, yeah. But I'm like, he made it.
Yeah.
He made it. And that's what's changed people's life. So I thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I feel the same, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. How can people find you?
So my Instagram is enjoyyourself.movement.
Movement, okay.
And the website is enjoyyourself.movement. There's a new website coming up very soon, maybe in 3 weeks.
Enjoyyourself.movement.
Yeah, it's gonna come. There's a new website coming up very soon with online classes for body movement, right?
Amazing.
The Enjoy Yourself method, and for the Capoeira as well. So it's a website specific for people from the MMA. And so there's a category for MMA and Jiu-Jitsu, Capoeira, yoga.
You started with dancers though, right?
I started with dancers.
You started teaching Capoeira to dancers for them to move better,
to
right?
move better, yeah. And then so I started to adapt.
To fighters.
But I learned Capoeira from a fighter. I learned Capoeira from a fighter.
Everything's a fight, huh?
Yeah,
Life is a fight.
Life is a fight, yeah. So, but you can find me on Instagram. I think that's in Facebook, Mestre Xuxo, or Instagram, enjoyyourself.movement. And yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Muchísimas gracias. Oh my gosh.